today are here with me at the debate circle to tackle a motion that states the African youth should prioritize entrepreneurship over formal employment for economic empowerment. The opposers of this motion are Moi Forces Academy, and the proposers of this motion are Mang'u High School. My name is Gloria Mbenge, and I'm going to be your host for this season. Speaker number one, proposer, Mang'u High School, you have 3 minutes.
My time starts in 3, 2, 1. My name is Javan Isaac from the Mang'u High School, here to strongly propose a motion that states that the African youth should prioritize entrepreneurship over formal employment for economic empowerment. Onto my definitions. Entrepreneurship is the process of identifying a business gap and finding the necessary resources to start and run a business. A youth, any person living in Africa, African youth, people living in Africa between the ages of 18 and 34. Formal employment is a career done after acquiring skills and knowledge in a particular discipline, while economic empowerment is the uplifting of a certain sector or the whole economy of a particular country through various means. Now, why do we support the motion that states that we should prioritize entrepreneurship over formal employment? My main point is job creation. We are not against formal employment in any way. What we are saying is entrepreneurship actually allows for formal employment to exist, because currently in Africa there are over 400 million youth, 1/3 of which are unemployed and another third are poorly employed. This is according to an article by the World Bank. Now, what will entrepreneurship actually allow? Entrepreneurship, when a person actually decides to start their own business, it will allow for him to, one, make a living for himself, and again, be able to provide job opportunities for other people, both formal and informal. According to CNBS Africa, it states that 83.6% of employed people are from the informal sector, which means that formal employment accounts for very little percent. Why is this so? Is it because that there are no jobs? Yes, actually it is. But what would entrepreneurship allow? It will allow the people, the youth, the young people in our continent to actually get jobs. Did you know that entrepreneurship will be able to absorb that some of the people in the unemployed? I don't understand why I'd go to school and get a degree and come out here and still be jobless, while I can come up with a business opportunity and start and make a living for myself, while at the same point, I'd be able to provide employment for so many people. According to a research done by Africa.Business Insider, it stated that among the top 2 companies that have the most employed people is one Standard Bank Group with 49,325 people, and Absa Group, which has employed 35,451. This is as a result of entrepreneurship. Now, it accounts for the majority of the people. The youth account for a very huge population in Africa, and when we do entrepreneurship, we can actually allow them to get jobs. I'll allow my second speaker to come and emphasize more. That was my time. Thank you.
I want to begin my speech in 1, 2, 3. Samuel Kukan from the Moi Forces Academy, here to strongly oppose the motion of dissection today. The African youth should prioritize entrepreneurship over formal employment for economic empowerment. But first of all, panel, let me be the luminary to your land of darkness, the Messiah, to shed light upon your eyes and first mechanize the key terms in this motion. Who is a youth? A youth is a person between the age bracket of 18 to 35 years. And what is to prioritize, panel? This simply means giving more attention to something compared to the other. And what is entrepreneurship, panel? This simply means the process of earning money by either starting or running a business, especially by taking financial risks. Note, especially by taking financial risks. And what is formal employment, panel? This simply means jobs acquired through your knowledge, through your education, and not from your skills. And finally, panel, what is economic empowerment? This simply means uplifting of jobs and businesses among the youth for a stable economy. I, as this first speaker, have come to state and to build a firm foundation for my second speaker and third speaker, who will in turn emphasize on the other points, we are here to present the following points: skill development, access to benefits, poverty reduction, risk reduction, professional networking, etc., etc. And we're here to satisfy SDG number 1, which is no poverty, SDG number 2, no hunger, SDG number 8, decent work and economic growth, and finally SDG number 9, which is industry, innovation, and infrastructure. On to my first point, which is skill development panel. Formal employment offers skill development, professional skill developments, e.g. technical skills required in the job that you're opting to do, and other things. It offers soft skills, e.g. communication, problem solving skills, and content analysis among the youth. And according to a statistic posted by the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor in the year 2024, necessity-driven entrepreneurship is prevalent in Africa, showing that many individuals lack the education, the knowledge in the competitive market. On to my second point, which is access to benefits panel. Formal employment offers access to benefits, e.g. paid leaves, pension schemes, health insurance, etc., etc. And according to a statistic posted by the African Development Bank in the year 2024, informal entrepreneurship rarely has access to formal financial systems and social protections. This showing that entrepreneurship will leave the youths vulnerable to economic shocks due to lack of these benefits. And that takes me on to my other point, which is poverty reduction panel. Formal employment reduces poverty, helping the youth, lifting the youths from disadvantaging backgrounds. And according to a statistic posted by the World Bank Poverty and Prosperity in the year 2024, formal employment is crucial in uplifting youths from disadvantaging backgrounds, leading to and ensuring a sustainable livelihood. Panel, I as the first speaker rest their case, rest my case, rest our case, because the case was already rested before it began. Thank you.
I begin in 3, 2, 1. So my name is Pastor Neville. He has to strongly propose the motion that has already been stated by both sides. So why are we saying that we should focus on entrepreneurship? Oh, first of all, they are focusing on employment, yet we don't have employment in Africa. So entrepreneurship is the only way. According to President Obama, who said, entrepreneurship for its promises of African with participation at the GES, agreeing with him that entrepreneurship is one of the key ingredients in the toolbox to address youth unemployment in Africa. Now, what do both sides face? We face funds and education. Formal employment needs funds and education. Both for entrepreneurship, we need funds and education. So how are we going to curb funds for the side of entrepreneurship? Now, the African governments should reduce heavy incentives on politicians and governments, officials, and focus that money on the young youth who pursue entrepreneurship. What will be the outcomes of this? This will create more opportunities in terms of finance and access to markets. And what will be the outcome of this? This will increase producers and increase in exports, increase revenue for the government, and increase in GDP. Why? Because we are increasing our market for the local produced goods. We're increasing the markets for our own raw materials and the maximum utilization of resources and overall economic empowerment. Now, number 2, we are facing a problem of education. So how is team proposition going to counter this? So education. For formal employment, you need a lot of funds for you to acquire this formal education, for you to acquire formal employment. Now, entrepreneurship requires less or rather minimal amount of funds. Now, so we need mentors in the entrepreneurship sector, and the funds are so little. And according to according to African Renewal, it says that 75% of the population in Africa is made up of the youth. Now, out of this 75%, that 7% in total, we are taking only the youths aside. So out of this 100%, that 7% are employed. Now, this leaves us with 63% of unemployed youths. Have they focused on formal employment? Yes. Have they succeeded? No. That's why we are saying entrepreneurship is the way forward. Even President Obama himself, he says that many African governments have not been keen on developing policies that will avert unemployment among the African youth. Why is this? Because Africans are ignorant and continue being over-ambitious, settling for careers such as being doctors, being lawyers, and etc. So settle for entrepreneurship if you want Africa to be in the next 10 years to be somewhere. That has been my time, and with that I hope to have preached against all the fallacies that team opposition has brought, and I'd like to welcome the second speaker for some entertainment. Then my third speaker is going to come here and elaborate more on the further points. Thank you.
Starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. You are telling me that as a youth I should risk all my savings on entrepreneurship. You are saying that I place my finances on the line in order to risk all of them and become an entrepreneur. Then, in the long-term sustainability, who is winning? Because entrepreneurs create an unstable income compared to formal employment that bring in a secure income growth. A statistic carried out by Kenya Bureau of Statistics states that out of 50 youths who have graduated from universities, only 5 of them truly succeed to become entrepreneurs. And what about the 45? They don't. At the heart of this motion today, my name is Kelvin Mang'u from the great Moi Forces Academy, here to strongly oppose on the motion of dissection today that states the African youth should prioritize entrepreneurship over formal employment for economic empowerment. But first, before I jump into my points, I need to rebuttal some of the points brought in by team proposition, because their first speaker came here and said that entrepreneurship creates job employment. I am so sorry, because he's actually supporting our case, because we are looking for formal employment. We are looking for youths who can be employed in the job industry for sustainable communities and sustainable cities, industry innovations, and our infrastructure. My first point, skill development programs. In enrollment in skill development programs or vocational training courses, we acquire practical skills that are in demand in this job market. Internships and apprenticeships. Securing internships and apprenticeships can provide a very valuable work experience that build professional networks. Even in low-paying or unpaid jobs, they can lead to a full-time employment opportunities. Entry-level positions. The graduates that need to start with entry-level positions to gain an experience in proving their abilities. And these positions do not come from high academic excellence and achievement, but to offer advancements based on performance and dedication. Continuing education. You see that graduates consider furthering their education through part-time or online programs while working. Continuing education can help acquire new skills, improve qualifications, and increase their chances in the future. And by pursuing these strategies and remaining proactive in job search efforts, graduates with lower grades can increase their chances of achieving formal employment and advancing careers in Kenya. So you see, apart from achieving these effects on formal employment, we will be able to satisfy the Sustainable Development Goals number 1, that is no poverty, SDG number 8, that is decent work and economic growth, SDG number 5, gender equality, SDG number 10, reduced inequalities, and SDG number 16, peace, justice, and strong intuitions. My third speaker will come here and give us the framework of this motion. I was the second speaker, signing out and resting my case.
One thing you mentioned was that removing the risk factor, we have included the policy that Kenyan African governments should reduce heavy incentives placed on politicians and instead redirect them to making these entrepreneurs, starting up entrepreneurs, have friendly policies that actually support them. And then one thing we need to understand, entrepreneurship serves the vast majority. Over 82.3% of total employment falls under the non-formal sector, which, mind you, is, according to CNBS Africa, which is entrepreneurship. So less than 82.3% of guys actually fall under formal employment. And another thing, yes, we have agreed, entrepreneurship creates job for formal employment. So what should we deal with? Should we deal with the source of this employment, or should we deal with this employment? And mind you, according to the Kenyan Bureau of Statistics, in Kenya, 32.4% of graduates actually are unemployed, meaning that these guys, we are only encouraging more people to pursue formal employment when we are sending 32.4% of them on the streets. But when we encourage entrepreneurship, we will be serving for everyone. Because in entrepreneurship, when you start a business, you will create demand for telecommunication, production, mass services, and therefore serving every sector of the economy. And what are we fighting for? We're fighting for economic empowerment. Onto my next point. We need to understand that one thing is that we are not against formal employment, but what are we saying? We are saying that on the forefront of economic empowerment, entrepreneurship should be leading. Take an example of Mauritius. Mauritius has an employment rate of 93.1% according to the World Bank. And here's the funniest part. The funniest part is that Mauritius is mainly an enterprise sector. So what are we saying? Entrepreneurship creates jobs. Entrepreneurship reduces prices of goods due to competition. And entrepreneurship will give people who are formerly unemployed money and funds to actually deal with these problems of theirs. And these guys were not paying taxes, these unemployed ones, yet entrepreneurship will take them in, give them salaries, which the government will tax, give the government more tax, hence reducing the taxes they place on everyone. So even if you are not with entrepreneurship, you are still benefiting from entrepreneurship. Less taxes, less prices, more jobs, more chances. Entrepreneurship serves the vast majority, while formal employment falls under entrepreneurship. So we are not against, let me quote again, we are not against formal employment, but what are we against? It's leading the forefront. We believe that entrepreneurship should be leading the forefront. And so, in the spirit of this debate, I cleanse 99.99% of the opposition's jams, and therefore, let the third speaker come and give us the 0.01% of jams. This is the Elijah Minor from Mang'u High School. Thank you for your time.
I am Jesse Tuba from the Moses Academy, here to strongly state my stance as an opposer in the motion that states the African youth should prioritize entrepreneurship over formal employment for economic empowerment. I am here to strongly state my stance of saying that by the youth prioritizing formal employment, they will be able to achieve economic empowerment as opposed to prioritizing entrepreneurship. First of all, let me tell you something. According to a statistic posted by the African Development Bank, informal entrepreneurship rarely has access to formal financial systems and social protection. So tell me, how are these people, how are the youth of our African continent supposed to attain financial security without social protection and formal financial system access? Tell me that. As opposed to entrepreneurship, in entrepreneurship, there is a limited success rate. Despite the enthusiasm brought about by entrepreneurship from our proposing side, the success rate of startups provided by entrepreneurship still remains low. This is according to research by the Harvard Business School. About 75% of ventures backed up by startups do end up failing within the first 5 years of establishment. There are many challenges that are also faced by entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is fraught with many challenges. According to the World Bank, 50% of new businesses fail within the first 5 years due to factors such as lack of access of funding and inadequate market research. So tell me, where is your source of funding? Please provide us with a framework. I have come here to provide you with a framework on the status quo that states the status quo of this motion is unemployment. Ways in which we can be able to access more employment in our country is through formal employment, because there is a larger percentage of people who get D's and E's in this country. For example, I can get a D or an E, and this means that I need to do something else. For example, we can do things like internship and apprenticeship, which helps people to attain valuable work ethics and work experiences. And for example, these people who get lower grades, who are not able to attain formal employment, we can be able to provide them with networking through career fairs, industry events, and networking sessions. Panel, they come here and tell, the first speaker came here and told us that 2.3% of the African youth are employed, while a 3% of the African youth are unemployed. This 1.3% of unemployed Kenyan youth will be able to attain this through skill development projects, internship and apprenticeship, and which helps them attain valuable work experience. Panel, I have been your third speaker here to rest their case, our case, and to say good night to it. Thank you.
Now, as I've already said, one, we are catering for what? The vast majority, something they have not touched on. We have given them the question, what about these unemployed people? What about your 32.4% formal employment graduates who are still suffering from unemployment? Yet entrepreneurship comes and solves all of this, okay? Our 2 points, vast majority, and also increasing the economic status have not been touched on. And also, I give you another solution. Since it seems you're not satisfied, financial literacy should be taught to the youth so that they don't squander all their money on investing poorly. Another thing, which one is more important? The sector backing up the government or the sector being backed up by the government? The government is losing money. That's why taxes are so high. Yet entrepreneurship will bring in these funds and increase the number of taxes, reduce taxes for the vast majority of people, and serve everyone. So as I said already, if you're not under entrepreneurship, you will still benefit. Formal employment, he said, even though that speaker said, guys with D and E have to look for other alternatives. Mind you, let me tell you something, entrepreneurship doesn't require a grade. And so, I thank you very much for your time. Mine is up.
My name is Kelvin Kamango here for the last time. So I'm bringing in the top clashes of this motion that are globalization, which we focus on team opposition, that global market influences and technological advancements can shape labor markets, hence promoting formal employment that satisfy SDG number 8, that is decent work and economic growth. Apart from this, we still consider stability versus risk, that entrepreneurships are facing a very risky opportunity, but we who bring formal employment, we have seen that formal employment brings in secure income that even helps in addressing a secure income gaining. Hence, formal employment is the way we choose to go. And still, we, as team opposition, consider on winning on the fact that we have given you the problem, we have given you the status quo on skill mismatching, labor market informality, and regulatory burdens with limited job creations. What is our solution? Panel, we have brought in the merging of entrepreneurship and formal employment, but we prioritize formal employment. We have given you the effects and how it sustains the Sustainable Development Goals. We have given you a framework and we have added an implementation to it. With that, I rest my case and their case. Thank you.
Feeling is that there was a lot of justice that was done by the teams to this particular motion because it was well researched. That was very clear from the two sides. Most of the speakers were very composed when they were speaking. Now, narrowing down to the individual speakers, the first speaker proposition side, Javan, you gave the definitions. There was mastery of language and topic, and you also gave figures to support whatever you were saying from the formal sector. And I think there was also coherency in your arguments. But I think going forward, you need to work on your time. The second speaker, proposition, Neville, you are a composed speaker and you manage your time well. But I would like to maybe give this opinion that at some point you are referring and you are reading from the script, so you should be able to work on that. Then also as the second speaker, you're supposed to offer rebuttals to the other speaker. The third speaker, Elijah, I think you managed your time so well, you are coherent. There was mastery of topic and language, and you also offered rebuttals from your opponent. The first speaker proposition, that was Samuel, you were really convincing and you spoke with a lot of passion. You were composed and you managed your time. You also gave citations to support whatever you are saying. But I feel that you did not offer rebuttals as the second speaker. The role of the first speaker, opposition, you're supposed to offer rebuttals to the first speaker. The second speaker, opposition, Kevin, you did so well. In fact, I really want to congratulate you for doing a very good job. You were able to do the role of the second speaker by offering rebuttals. You spoke with a lot of conviction and passion. There was good style of presentation. And you also gave the benefits of formal employment by citing regional examples, like Kenya. Then the last speaker, opposition side, that was Jesse. I feel that there was a lot that you maybe need to do in order to do well in the coming debate. You were a composed speaker, but I felt that you were speaking a little bit faster, so you were not able to hear whatever you were saying. Then most of the time, you were reading from the script, so that was not really convincing. So I hope going forward, the two teams will be able to do a good job. Thank you.